So where do I stand 4 years after college? What are my finances? As I mentioned in my previous video, I made this channel to hold myself accountable for both my finances and endeavors in entrepreneurship. Prior to discussing how I plan on achieving my initial goal of reaching $1 million in assets by 30, I wanted to at least benchmark my current financial standings. So for my future updates, they will be based on where I stand today and how the actions I take will impact my future financial and current financial standings. To start off, I am indeed about $300,000 in debt, but that's not just for my college debt. I graduated engineering school with about $10,000 in debt, which I was extremely grateful to be able to pay off very quickly. I worked 4 different jobs in college. I worked as a residential advisor, I worked as a research assistant, I worked with a professor to help produce videos. Additionally, I worked 2 internship positions at a startup that I currently work for today. I was also able to contribute to paying this off with the stock investments I made in T-Mobile when it jumped from $30 to $60 with some of the earnings I made in college, and also had quite a bit of assistance from scholarships, financial assistance, as well as a little bit of contributions from my parents, which I'm extremely grateful for because I know not everyone has those lucky parents that can help them through college. At this point, at 23, I graduated with my engineering degree, and I stayed an extra year to complete my minor in computer science and had pretty much about $0 in debt. I started a job as a research engineer at my current startup and earned about $47,000 a year in salaries, which is low for an engineer, but I was also given stock options at the startup around 1.5%. The shares are now fully vested, which means I can purchase them for the initial price quoted to me, but without knowing the share prices today, these options are potentially worth nothing or quite a bit of money in the future. And since I haven't received an official evaluation of the company, I won't go into the speculation of how much these are worth, but I may do that in a future video and discuss how to evaluate how much a business is actually worth. I can definitely talk about some more concrete items on my balance sheet though. Today, I'm still with the company, have an annual income of about $60,000, but my take-home pay is only around $2,000 a month after taxes, health insurance, and investments in my simple IRA. Unfortunately, I don't have a 401k or Roth, which definitely does make me feel pretty behind compared to a lot of you who have been investing in your 401ks or Roth since you're 18 or 22. But in my simple IRA account, I have about $25,500 with about $22,000 initially invested. I've only recently started maxing out my IRA account contributions this year, but I will definitely continue doing that in the future. Right after college, I also got a little bit lucky off of some stock purchases, buying Tesla around $180 to $200, and I unfortunately sold a lot of them at around $300 because it seemed like a huge gain at the time. With those stock sales though, I was able to purchase this current home that I live in for about $150,000 with 5% down. Although I had the money to make the total down payment, my parents actually gifted me for the down payment amount of the house, which I'm extremely grateful for and will definitely pay back with interest. Additionally, I also added solar panels to my house for about $30,000, but this ends up being almost completely free, which I may discuss in a separate video. Since home evaluation has gone up about $10,000 in my area, I would estimate this home to be around $190,000. I also rent out a portion of the home at $1,200 a month, which helps cover a significant portion of the mortgage. So this brings my current assets up to about $190,000. Additionally, 2 years after this home purchase, I also purchased a second home for $170,000, which I rent out, giving me an income of about $2,400 a month currently. This gives me a total asset of $390,000, but also have nearly $300,000 of mortgage payments to make prior to paying off my balance. Although the actual amount owed is $300,000, the total debt is much higher due to interest. But because if I were to pay off this total debt today, it would only take about $300,000. That's how it will be shown on my balance sheet. As long as the properties are cash flowing, I plan on keeping my mortgage payments at the minimum, and I will definitely try to refinance a lower interest rate for my current property. Lastly, I also have a few investment accounts, which includes $5,000 worth of stocks and around $10,000 of cryptocurrency, which could be worth nothing tomorrow or a lot more money tomorrow, since the crypto market is so insanely volatile. Given everything I've listed in assets, I have about $25,500 in my simple IRA, $190,000 in my current home, including $30,000 worth of solar, as well as $170,000 in home 2, $5,000 of value in stocks, about $10,000 say in crypto, and 1.5% of stock options in a current company, which I have no idea how much that's worth. In terms of liabilities, I have about $155,000 on my mortgage 1, including $20,000 of debt in the solar, as well as $160,000 in mortgage. Meaning, in total, based on this balance sheet, I have about $83,000 in net worth. Meaning, in the last 4 years, I've contributed about $20,750 a year to my net worth and about $1,729 a month. If I did nothing differently and continued adding to my net worth at the current rate while investing all of my net worth into the stock market at a return of about 8% with a variance, I say, about 2% plus or minus annually per year, I would have about $1 million in net worth in 15 to 20 years based on this chart. But I don't want to wait that long. I want to accelerate my growth financially more than just compounding interest is capable of providing on a steady salary. In the next video, I will lay out how I plan on doing that. If you would like to continue seeing this type of content and tell the algorithm that you're interested in finance and entrepreneurship, you can feel free to hit the like button and subscribe button, as well as the notification bell. This will not only help the channel, but also help the algorithm bring you more quality content on topics you're interested in. Stay tuned for the next video where I lay out how I plan on reaching $1 million in assets in just under 3 years.